What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Thursday, March 4th, 2021. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the best voice in the video games industry, Parris Lilly.
What is going on, Greg? Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for coming on, Parris. It's been too long. You know, that was the thing. We were so excited to bring you on to more shows and do more things with you. You and I don't get to work together ever. You know what I mean? There's this line in the sand between Xbox and PlayStation, and I want these worlds to meet. I'm stuck with Gary all the time. He doesn't know anything.
Hilarious. No, I'm always glad to come on Kinda Funny Games Daily. And I'm a co-host on XCast and excited to do more things with Kinda Funny. So it's always good to be on.
How's it been? You know, you came on and started doing official stuff in January, coming on, joining the XCast. Since then, we've tried to rotate you into other stuff too. How you been?
Oh, it's been great. It's been fantastic. I think the best part of it has been the reception from the community. Just all the comments and the feedback that I've seen. People, for some reason, seem to like my crazy speculation. So that's always a good thing.
Hey, man, as long as you keep it interesting, you know, you come out here and you say the crazy things. It doesn't matter if it comes true or not. You know, and that's what I see every Saturday on the XCast goes up, and then there you are trying to back people off. You're like, all right, I said some things about Bethesda. Time's gonna prove me right, but you guys can be mad right now.
Yeah, exactly.
How are you having a good time? One of the things you tweeted recently, right, was that like you thought last year you might start winding down doing content. You might step away from this.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. So going pre-pandemic, I thought 2020 was going to be it. You know, I'm older. You know, I've been around for a long time. You know, podcasting and things. Been able to attend E3 since 2001. I just feel like I've done a lot in the industry already for at least what I thought would make me happy. And I was like, you know what? Maybe my time's up. Maybe it's time now that we're going into the next generation of consoles. Maybe this will just be my last year attending events. And then the pandemic happened. And the
pandemic's like, changed. You know what? It might be your final time attending events for everyone.
Yeah, I think I jinxed it a little too hard that this was going to be my last E3. But no, I would say since the pandemic has happened, and obviously I've different opportunities that happened throughout 2020, just kind of opened my eyes that, believe it or not, you know, I still think I got a little left in the tank to provide as far as gaming goes. Just maybe different perspective, things like that. And I'm having fun doing it. That's the main thing. As long as I keep having fun, I want to keep doing it. So,
well, I'm glad you stuck around. That's what I want to hear. I want you to stick around as long as possible. Of course, yes, you are a co-host on the XCast. Of course, yes, you are a host on Gamertag Radio. So everybody check out all of that. And of course, you are also just an interesting follow on Twitter. So everybody go be a part of that, all right? For now, though, we need to get your opinion on this new Switch with a larger screen, some dumb and smart decisions from Avengers, and so much more, because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about. If you like that, be part of the show at patreon.com/kindafunnygames. Of course, over on patreon.com/kindafunnygames, you can write in with your questions, comments, concerns for Kinda Funny Games Daily, and of course, the Kinda Funny XCast. Of course, on patreon.com/kindafunnygames, you can get the show ad-free, and you can get it with the exclusive post show we do each and every weekday. However, if you have no bucks to toss our way, it's no big deal. You can watch live as we record it on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, just like Lexi Gunner, Buttlord Primus, and Missing Link 000R. If you're watching live on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, you have a special job. Go to kindafunny.com/you're wrong and tell us what we screw up as we screw it up, so we can set the record straight each and every weekday for everybody watching later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames, roosterteeth.com, and listening on podcast services around the globe each and every weekday. Housekeeping for you. There's a bevy of content happening right now. The Blessing Show has a brand new episode up. Remember, this is Blessing's video essay show. It is going up each and every other week. Doesn't sound good. Every other week, youtube.com/kindafunnygames. It's all about video games. Today, it's about puzzle games. He has one of the developers of Manifold Garden on to talk about what makes a great puzzle game. Fascinating conversation. Go check out The Blessing Show, youtube.com/kindafunnygames. Then the Kinda Funny podcast is live right now with the new voice of Cleveland in Family Guy. You can go to youtube.com/kindafunny or the Kinda Funny podcast feed to have us hang out with Arif for an entire hour and then get into the normal stupid shenanigans we do on the Kinda Funny podcast, but mainly talk about how Arif went from being somebody who impersonates Cleveland on the internet in Call of Duty to actually being Cleveland on the show. It's a fascinating conversation. And then the big one, Parris, I know you are as excited as me tomorrow, MCU in review returns because, of course, tonight/tomorrow morning, WandaVision, the final episode goes live. We will do in review tomorrow, a proper MCU in review where we will take WandaVision as a whole and rank it in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Or youtube.com/kindafunny, in review podcast services around the globe. Parris, where are you at with WandaVision?
I am beyond excited for this finale of WandaVision. I'm just going to selfishly say something right now. When you guys do that in review every week, I'm jealous every week because I'm just screaming at the screen going, I have theories too. But yeah, it's been a fascinating show because clearly it had the slow build up to where we are now with the sitcom format. But
yeah,
it's really kind of found its footing. I mean, obviously, Kathryn Hahn is amazing as Agatha.
Oh my God, killing it.
But the fact that this is really just coming down to Wanda, the Vision, and dealing with grief. I mean, that last episode was just fantastic. It was such a tearjerker. So I'm really expecting more of the same coming in this finale. But the one thing, and I tweeted this earlier, is I do think we kind of got to set expectations a little bit because the theories have just gone crazy. People think Professor X and Magneto and Reed Richards and everyone else is about to show up, and I don't think that's the show. I mean, yeah, Doctor Strange probably shows up at the very end, but Doctor Strange isn't going to be the solution. I think this will resolve itself with the characters that we already know. So
Monica's going to have a huge role in it, right?
Yeah.
Wanda yeah, exactly.
Now, one thing I will say, and shout out to Danny Pena because we disagree on this.
Never heard of him.
I know who cares about that guy? But Pietro is a Pietro. He tends to think it's just some fake guy. That's Pietro. It's just not our Pietro. I'm just going to say that.
So yeah, and by the way, we're drifting into spoilers for what you've seen so far from WandaVision, but I would hope and feel like most of you have, but I don't know. But hey, just to get it out there. So my question is, how do you think they're going to do? Is that where you're coming? Do you think he is from the Fox universe? He is from that universe? They've pulled him in?
Not even 100%. Oh, he is the exact Fox universe Pietro, but he is a Pietro from the multiverse. I think this is our first hint into the multiverse and just where they're going to go when we get into Doctor Strange and Spider-Man 3 and those movies.
Okay. And then do you think do you think this is, we're going to talk about the multiverse, obviously, and all that shit. Do you think that there's going to be some kind of activation tomorrow where we're talking about, where I'm with you. I don't expect Professor X. I don't expect Reed Richards, but I do also expect there to be some end montage, whatever's happened and whatever's expanded has changed. Do you think that's how they're going to explain mutants tomorrow? Okay.
I mean, because remember,
I can't wait, baby.
And again, not to get into crazy spoiler stuff, but I mean, this is adapted from House of M, so I'm expecting some version of the finale to House of M to be a part of this. Right. So we'll see. But I do think it opens up the multiverse. I think that's where we're going.
I can't fucking wait. And also, yeah, if you want to come on and do like the quick reactions to stuff like that, for sure. Like, are you going to watch Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Of course.
Open invitation. Every Friday morning, open invitation for you to come by and join us. Don't worry about that.
I will be there.
Okay, sounds good. Speaking of being there, Greg Way, let's talk about the Patreon producers who are there for us on patreon.com/kindafunnygames. Of course, you have Mick, aka at the nanobiologist Abrahamson. Now, nanobiologist, I saw you in the chat, or not, actually, you're wrong from yesterday, being like, how does everybody screw this up? Every time you guys choke on it. It's because we've known you for years as nanobiologist or Mick Abrahamson. When you take them and put you put it in the middle, you're trying to do the AKA thing, and it just throws me off. It throws Tim off. It throws everything. So we got to just decide if it's going to be Mick Abrahamson, aka nanobiologist, or nanobiologist, aka Mick Abrahamson. I'll leave it up to you. You can put in a you're wrong and we'll go from there, but something's got to be done about this. Then it's Blackjack and Trent Berrie. Today we're brought to you by Honey, Logitech, and DoorDash, but I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news. We got 4 items on the Roper Report, Kevin.
Baker's dozen.
Let's start with the big one that broke yesterday late from Bloomberg. Over at Bloomberg, Takashi, Mochizuki, and Sohee Kim write, Nintendo Co. plans to unveil a model of its Switch gaming console equipped with a bigger Samsung OLED display this year, hoping the larger touchscreen can prop up demand in time for the holidays, people familiar with the plan said. Samsung Display Co. will start mass production of a 7-inch 720p resolution OLED panels as early as June, with an initial monthly target of just under 1 million units, said the people, who asked not to be identified, discussing internal matters. The displays are slated for shipment to assemblers around July, the people said. Representatives for Nintendo and Samsung Display declined to comment. Nintendo seeks to sustain a Switch lineup that continues to sell well against the Xbox and PlayStation, thanks to pandemic-era breakout hits like Animal Crossing and a chip crunch that's plagued supply of rival devices. But the gadget is now in its 5th year, while Microsoft Corp and Sony Corp both have new and more powerful machines in the market. The gaming community has speculated online about the introduction of an OLED or organic light emitting diode screen, but Nintendo has stayed mum, and President Shuntaro Furukawa said in February his company has no plans to announce a new Switch, quote unquote, anytime soon, which, as we pointed out in February, could have been as much as, no time soon, and they do it the next week, and they're like, well, no, that wasn't soon. That was a week. What are you talking about? That's how time works. Samsung's involvement is the strongest indication that Nintendo is serious about updating the console on a large scale. Quote, the OLED panel will consume less battery, offer higher contrast, and possibly faster response time when compared to Switch's current liquid crystal display, said a co-founder of display consultant DSCC. The latest model will also come with 4K ultra-high definition graphics when paired with TVs, they said. That could intensify a long-standing complaint of developers who have struggled with the difference in resolution between handheld and TV modes and now face a bigger gap between the two. Yeah, that can intensify long-standing complaint. The new display's resolution mirrors the current Switch and Switch Lite, but is an upgrade from the Switch's 6.2-inch and Lite's 5.5-inch size. If the console's housing remains unchanged, the new Switch is likely to sport a thinner bezel. Parris, Lilly, how do you unpack this? Would you be excited for this? Would you buy it? Do you believe it?
So I have 3 Switches in my house already between myself and my kids.
So you're buying this no matter what.
Oh yeah, I'm getting it. Absolutely. This is the one that I've been waiting for. I think the biggest thing that I took out of this is not only is an OLED screen, but the fact that because of the power consumption is going to be less, you're going to get more battery life. That's obviously been a big thing that we've wanted with the Switch in portable mode. Another thing which they don't talk about in this that I'm hopeful to see whenever we get the unveil of this is better Joy-Cons potentially. Probably thinner bezels. I know it mentioned it in there as well. The 4K thing is interesting. It's clearly the logical step to go when it's going to be in TV mode, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I guess I really don't care when it comes to Nintendo with 4K. And I know there's obviously been some speculation with developer support on this. How if it is going to be going from 720p and scaling all the way up to 4K, is that going to just make an extra workload for developers? Like I said, to me, if it stayed at 1080p but it had better battery life, a bigger screen, that's enough. I would be happy with that. To me, the Switch, 90% of the time I'm playing it in portable mode anyway. So I'm not overly concerned with it being 4K in docked mode and playing that way. So, I mean, I think a lot of this is true, but it'll be interesting to see what the true reveal looks like. Yeah,
I'm with you where you read this and you look at this and, obviously the conversation for so long has been a Switch Pro. When are we getting a Switch Pro? And just reading off the page right here and not having the bells and whistles and Nintendo to come out and explain it to you, this doesn't read like a Switch Pro to me. It just seems like the next step of the Switch of, hey, let's give you a bigger screen. Let's give you this. Let's get rid of the bezel. You're talking about better Joy-Cons. Obviously, we talk about Joy-Con drift, right, and getting away from that. But what I like about this idea is, and what it seems like Nintendo actually understands, is that I think even Per Schneider from IGN put up a tweet last night of a mock-up he did, or somebody did, that was, removing the bezel from the current Switch and expanding it out gives you that 7 inches and then lets you keep the Joy-Cons you do have. And yes, it would come with Joy-Cons attached to it, hopefully with Joy-Con drift fixed and all that. But this is, when they announced the Switch Lite, I looked at it and I was like, ooh, I thought about it because I play mainly handheld as well. But then it was the thing of like, that's just for me personally, that is such a luxury purchase, seeing as how I already have a Switch that works. Yeah, my battery isn't as good. And even when they put out the new Switch that had a longer battery life on because of the chipset they were using in the back end, I thought about buying that, but I was still like, that was when I was still traveling even. I was like, the battery pack and all these other things I'm carrying with me, I'm usually not in the stress for it. This would be one that I would buy day and date. Because yes, I have gotten so much use out of my Switch, right, since it launched in 2017. Why wouldn't I now double down on that investment, get the bigger screen, have more real estate? But I'm with you of like the 4K on the TV is nice, whatever, get some parity going, but it doesn't move the needle for me. When I play Animal Crossing, I'm playing it on the couch next to Jen, right? When I'm playing Branddnh, when I'm playing Hades, when I'm doing something like that, I'm usually doing it handheld. And when I do throw it up on the screen, I feel like the games I'm playing on Switch are not games that I'm looking for the highest quality of graphics from. I'm looking for that Nintendo magic we always talk about.
Completely agree. If anything, I would say, because obviously this is going to have a better processor in it, GPU or whatever. If anything, keep it at 1080p, but allow it in dock mode. Maybe games that can't necessarily hit 60 frames per second and they've been locked at 30 and portable. Now, when you're docked, you can play at 60 frames or something like that. I think that's a better utilization of what the Switch can do than just going to 4K. Because again, most people don't care about 4K. We love it. It's a nice quality of life thing to have. But at the end of the day, as long as the games look great and play great, that matters more to me.
And that's the thing where I think, you look at the games the Switch has, and even the original Breath of the Wild is so beautiful. And it's just because it has an art style and it knows how to work with that. I'd rather have the performance of it. Interesting thing that had been tweeted by the one and only Jeffy Grubb from GamesBeat last night was this image here he had thrown up and he says, "I'm begging you, before you give your Switch Pro takes, please take a look at the pixel density of 720p at 7 inches. It's 209 pixels per inch, which is the equivalent to a Retina display if you hold it 16 inches away from your face, which you almost certainly do if you are an adult." And so it's the breakdown of how much we all get caught up in the jargon of this and the numbers that we know we want from our big screen TV, from our Xboxes and PlayStations. But the Switch is such a different device that, I'm not hung up on it still being 720p handheld. And again, 4K ultra high, it's an interesting conversation because if the 4K looks phenomenal and they're building games for it, a la Breath of the Wild 2, if that drops and it's like, look at how stunning it is, maybe that is the game that shifts me to playing it on my TV. But right now, that's not something that's lacking for me. I don't look at it, you know what I mean? Even when I'm always amazed when I throw Animal Crossing up on the TV on the rare occasion. I'm like, man, there's so much real estate to move around in because I'm used to it being a handheld thing.
Oh, completely agree. I would say more than anything when I look at these rumors, because now, is it coming this year? Is it going to come early next year? If it does come this year, I wonder what game will be attached with it, because there will obviously be something big that'll probably come out at the same time. I'm not expecting it to be Breath of the Wild 2.
Really?
I do think that's going to be next year.
It's funny because Branddnh H wrote in to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames just like you can and says, with the news of a Switch 2 potentially releasing this year, I have to ask, will Horizon get positioned against Breath of the Wild once again? Which is a great thing of how many people slept on Horizon because they're like, I'm all in on Breath of the Wild and I don't want another game like that. It's funny you go to Breath of the Wild 2 because I'm the opposite way of the camp of like, I know they're saying 2021 for Horizon. I can't wait for Forbidden West whenever it comes. I'm not holding my breath that that's a 2021 game. I could see that slipping too.
I honestly, with COVID and just everyone working remote, I think all bets are off anyways for any game. I wouldn't hold my breath that anything makes it into 2021 until I actually see it in a store and I can actually go purchase it, right?
Yeah, so 100%.
I just think Zelda's Breath of the Wild 2, as an example, is going to be such an ambitious game. If it's been slowed because of COVID development, why push it? Why rush it? No one's going to complain if you bring it out in 2022. So that's why I lean more that way. Same with Horizon Forbidden West. Look, if it ain't ready, don't put it out. It's that simple.
Yeah, we've learned those lessons over and over again, and we continue to see people screw that up. So yes, if it's not there, don't worry about it. Let it go. But at that point, do you think a Switch with a larger screen is sexy enough to come out on its own without a piece of hardware that you feel is like, this is why you need to be playing it on 4K. This is why you need to have it docked.
I'll put it this way. For my old ass, yes, the bigger the screen, the better, right? But
Fair enough.
No, but I think there's definitely appeal for a bigger screen. As much as I love the Switch and play it all the time, a slightly bigger screen would, like you mentioned, when you put it into docked mode into the TV, it's like, oh wait, I have all this real estate to work with.
Yeah.
I think that would scale with a 7-inch screen on the portable side as well. It'll just feel like you have more real estate to work with, even when you're on the go. And especially, knock on wood, once the pandemic is over and we're going to start traveling again and we're commuting and things like that, I just think a bigger screen on the Switch with better battery life to go along with it would be an ideal situation.
Yeah, and I think also the thing that speaks to it is obviously it's the intensity of the library they have already, where Animal Crossing is this juggernaut and people are still playing it like crazy. And even if we aren't or you aren't or I'm coming back, I'm doing the Mario stuff right now, getting on every morning and ordering more Mario stuff. But it is that idea that if you start either what they're talking about in June ramping up production and then July actually start assembling them and they think they can make 1 million a month, to get to the holiday, it's not like you're going to be able to put out so many Switches that they'd be sitting on shelves. I think you're talking about something you're putting out that hardcore people like us that are all in and are ready for an upgrade to it would buy and not necessarily need here's a new Mario Kart, here's a new Smash. I mean, we'll have a new Mario Golf around then, right? And I mean, that for me personally is enough that I think I'm going to be playing my Switch a ton. Exactly. So yeah, I want the best Switch. Yeah, I want it to look as good as possible.
No, completely agree. And like I've been obsessed with Mario Maker 2 the last few weeks, and I just kind of casually play, some challenging levels on that all the time. So it's not like I'm looking at my Switch going, God, I really need something to play. It's like I feel like I have so many things still to play on the Switch right now that just the bigger screen and better battery life alone is enough for me to want to go run out and go get it. And like you mentioned, we know we're getting Mario Golf and a few of the other things from the Direct. I'm in. So yeah, sure. Just bring it on. Even if there isn't a true big major game like Breath of the Wild 2 to go along with.
Let's switch with this Nintendo, or let's stick. Damn it, I screwed it up. Let's stick with this Nintendo news, and we'll head over to IGN, where Joe Skrebbels is talking about Super Nintendo World being on hold in Orlando, Florida. The opening of a Super Nintendo World theme park in Orlando, Florida, has reportedly been delayed by around 2 years to 2025. The Orlando Sentinel reports that construction work on Universal's upcoming Epic Universe Park, which includes a Super Nintendo World area, has recommended following pandemic-related shutdowns. However, Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings told the Sentinel that Universal had now pushed the park's opening to early 2025. Epic Universe construction halted indefinitely last year due to the economic uncertainty, but has now begun again. Little is known about the new park other than that there will be a new Super Nintendo World section included. The first Super Nintendo World theme park is due to open in Osaka, Japan this year, although the date is still unknown after Osaka Prefecture announced a state emergency due to COVID-19. The Japanese park gives a good sense of what may be coming from the North American versions, including a gamified visiting experience, Mario Kart and Yoshi rides, and a seemingly complex layout. Miyamoto himself recently offered a virtual guided tour of the park. Aside from the Orlando park, Super Nintendo World has also become a part of Universal Studios Hollywood and Universal Studios Singapore. Not shocking, but it just is one of those you got to put on there of like, I appreciate them saying 2 years. I appreciate them pushing it even further back and saying that, because what kills me, Parris, is when all this is happening, we're moving PAX to the fall. Oh, we're doing this, and it's like we all know it's not happening. Right. We all know that's not opening. So just give us something real.
Completely agree, and that's the thing. Transparency. You're being transparent to your audience, and you're giving them, what is a more realistic expectation on when they can think this thing is going to be complete, which I appreciate. Dude, we're COVID. I expect no rules is always my thing. Don't expect anything to meet the date that is set because of COVID. It's just so unexpected. So I do appreciate them pushing it this far out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see when it opens. It's obviously something I would love to go to. I would love to go do that, but like it's also that thing of right now I wouldn't climb on a plane. Like I wouldn't go. I'm not going right now. Yeah, it's still a thing when my friends talk about, and I know. I've heard how good airports have gotten about it. I've heard how good, quarantines have gotten. I know for friends who are working in production and going to host things and going to sets, like there's a whole different SAG and the thing apart. And even when I did EA Play last year here in San Francisco, like that was a brave new world of there only being 7 people on set, and I had my own area I was stuck in. If I left my room, I had to wear a mask. I got tagged. Like there was a whole bunch of different stuff going on. That was even before the immediate testing that's now happening. But yeah, like. I can't wait to see what Super Nintendo World looks like. I have no idea when I'll actually step foot in it.
Agreed. That's why 2025 actually makes a lot more sense.
Keep kicking it. Yep. Do your thing. Don't worry about it. Let's talk about number 3 here on the Roper Report. Avengers is making dumb and smart decisions, I feel. So let's talk about a little game called Marvel's Avengers that I know I never talk about at all. Let me pick up my Thor hammer as I read this one. They put up a blog post talking about both reworks for XP and cosmetic. So we will start with a very dumb decision. We'll start with XP. Since we launched last September, our balance team has been evaluating the XP curve for leveling from 1 to 50, and we'll be making some changes to address 2 core issues. The current XP curve isn't really a curve at all. In most RPGs, the amount of XP you need to level up increases as you gain levels in a curve. But our system is a straight line. This has led to pacing issues, such as skill points currently being rewarded too fast, which may be confusing and overwhelming to newer players. We want each decision to invest in a skill to be heroic or heroic to be more meaningful. Based on these issues, we'll be increasing the amount of XP needed to level up, starting from around level 25. This amount will increase the closer you get to level 50, so that it will take longer to reach higher levels and will only affect character level, not power level. If you already have a level 50 character, which is the current maximum, this won't affect you. If you have a character who isn't level 50 and want to speed up their progress, take time to do this before we update on March 18th. Of course, March 18th is when Hawkeye is dropping the Future Imperfect storyline content, the Hawkeye character, and probably more importantly for a lot of people, the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X versions of Avengers. I'm an Avengers fan, as you know. I know well. As you all know, I am well aware of all the problems with Avengers. I tell you about all the problems of Avengers. I have the platinum in Avengers. I want to play more Avengers. There's just not much to do in Avengers, and this is so fucking stupid, Parris.
Yes, it is. It's
okay. You play so much Destiny. I know you do different games as a service. Well, we both do Division, but you do different things. And I wanted to make sure I wasn't alone in this. This is a terrible decision, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Somewhere Luke Smith is going, no, because Destiny went through this, God, what was that, about 3 years ago, where they made it harder to level up with the XP grind. And everyone, the community basically had a riot over, and they had to walk it back. This is the same exact thing. Don't make me do the grindy parts because you know that's the least fun part of the game. You're forcing me to do the things that I don't like, and clearly the Avengers has a population problem right now, right? So if anything, you want more people to come in. You want to ease people. You want to make it more fun, more exciting to want to jump in. And you're immediately putting up this barrier right now saying, well, we're going to make you stay in the not fun part a little bit longer before you can actually get to the fun things that you want to do. So yeah, I think this is a huge mistake. As somebody who still checks the Avengers subreddit, whenever Thursday they put up their blog post of the marketplace and the content, usually me and Goldfarb text about it and all these different things. And again, anxiously waiting for the raid, for the cloning lab, for Wakanda, for whatever it's going to happen, because I enjoy the core gameplay of it. This is a tone-deaf decision that I hope they walk back, and I hope they look at the feedback. Because again, this is one of those that, how many people on the normal in the industry talk about Avengers? Not many. And this is something that since they announced it last night into today, like Jason's tweeting about it, Kotaku's got the article up about it. Like, why are you doing this? Of all the complaints people have about Avengers, this ain't it, Chief. Like, this ain't the problem. Nobody's sitting there going like, oh man, I hit level 50 too fast. What we're saying is when you get to level 50, that gives you all the skill points, so you have all the powers of the characters, which make you feel powerful to some extent. I saw somebody else tweeting today of like, this doesn't make any sense because I never feel like a superhero in this game. I'm always getting my ass kicked by robots. This gives you the full suite of powers that you then use to grind to 150 power level, which is a complete fucking grind. Is like obnoxious when once you get it to 140 and then you're like, all right, now I have to be investing resources to slowly get this. I need upgrade modules. I need polycoron. I need all this different stuff to do. That's the not fun part. That should be sped up. If anything, you shouldn't get in the way of this. This is silly. This is stupid. And like, there's so many different takes from other people I've seen about it of, number one, this is so detrimental to what actually kind of worked before, where it was you could pull a friend up quickly. If I finally convinced Jen to start playing Avengers, right, we could jump in there and I could help her get to 150, have all these cool abilities so it doesn't feel like she's doing the same moves over and over again. And then
let's get to work on the end game. You're at the end game, and I use end game loosely because there's no raid, there's no like high level content that really challenge you for it. But you go and do it, and so this is the antithesis of that. That this is trying to fix a problem that doesn't exist. Nobody I've heard has been like, I got to level 50 too fast. I got all the cool powers too fast. That's not happening, Parris.
No, completely agree. I think it's what this to me is an overall problem with this genre, the looter shooter genre. Like because it's happening in Destiny right now, where people are going, why are we doing levels? It doesn't make sense to keep. Like, I understand the initial campaign, you want to do something like that, but once you're getting to this stage of the life of the game, why are you forcing people to spend extra time in the things that they don't want to do? You want to do the things that's going to challenge you, or like you said, you get the cool moves, you're chasing the shiny thing, you know, potentially in the end game or whatever difficult challenge that may present itself. Whereas this, like you said, it's just taking a step back. And you brought up the great point, because this is also an issue with the Division as well. It's like, if I'm already at peak level and I bring a brand new person in, I want to get them up to my level as quickly as possible. And this is forcing that person who's new to the game, that you may have tried to convince that, hey, look, I know you said all the stuff about the Avengers, but now I want you to come and experience the cool parts. Now they got to wait. And they're going to get bored, and they're going to go, why am I doing this? And they're not going to do it. And hopefully, like you said, they walk this back, because I do think it's a big mistake, especially in this stage of the Avengers' life, where you want to build the population and the community back up.
And that's the other thing. My knee-jerk reaction to this, right, was like, wait, so I, again, am a glutton for punishment, and I'm excited for Avengers PS5. When it drops, I'm downloading it and I'm playing. I'm doing the Hawkeye stuff, and then I was like, I'll probably grind out, play some more Cape, see what's up. Maybe they've made a few other different quality of life changes. And I read this and I'm like, so wait, you're telling me right now I have a timer. I have a countdown timer till you move to this system. And what it means is that I need to, before March 18th, play your game on the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 4 version of the game, to then get these characters to that level. It's one of those things, like, I don't like Hulk, but maybe one day I'll like Hulk. So should I get Hulk to 150 now? Probably. So it's like, I'm going to grind him to 50, and then it's going to drop on the 18th. I'm going to play it for one night and be like, what? I'm going to put it down because, like, I'm not in the mood to play this shitty Hulk. So what? It's like, why wouldn't you have made this, drop the content on the 18th, give us the next gen versions, and then say, guess what? Starting April 1st, we're changing to this. So you have now 2 weeks with the brand new bells and whistles, theoretically the best running version of the game. Go do it there. Go get the content there. And so it's a weird, I don't understand how they keep stepping on the rake in their front yard. Like, make the game better, make the content go, make a mea culpa and say, like, here's where we went off, here's what the roadmap. We don't have a roadmap for this game. We have Fran played Cloning Labs in September, right, when they accidentally published it to the live server. Like, where is this content? What the fuck is going on with this game?
Yeah, I don't know. And it's one of those frustrating things where I feel like there's so many lessons learned. Like Destiny's been around since 2014. You could even take this back to, like, Diablo 3 as an example, where you've seen, these developers and these publishers make these mistakes over and over. And it's almost like history just keeps repeating itself in that way, where no one's going, well, oh shit, company X did that, let's not do that. But instead, now they're going to go do that too. And I feel for it, because, as an example, I've played the Avengers on PC. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I got bored with the grind of it and I stopped. And I don't know, probably level 10 or something, right?
Sure.
I hear this news. There's no way I'm going to try and force myself to rush
This isn't
through
exciting. This isn't getting you to come back, right?
No. So it keeps me, as a player who fell off, from not wanting to come back and try and experience the new content, because I don't want to do the grindy stuff. I don't want to do the boring things. I want to, as quickly as possible, get to the fun parts of the game. So then maybe that will encourage me to start building up other characters and invest into that community and into that world and keep playing. But as it stands right now, I'll just stay on the outside looking in.
Yeah, I'm working on on Patreon. You guys funded me doing a episode of the Blessing Show, and my blessing essay is going to be how I would fix the Avengers, and it's fucked up to be writing it while they're making more bad decisions. And I'm like, whatever. And people in the chat I've seen go by are like, Greg, I leveled up 6 times in one hive. Like, something needs to change. I'm like, Well, no. The problem here is that what the fuck is Avengers? What is this game? They don't know, because guess what? There's multiple Avengers. Like, if you want me to give Hulk a chance, I want to get Hulk to level 50 as fast as possible so I can see his entire power set, so I can see all his moves. Because right now, low level, when his moves aren't regenerating HP, when they aren't doing intrinsic damage, like, this isn't as much fun as I know it could be, because obviously I love playing Cap maxed out. I love playing Iron Man and Black Widow maxed out. And even Kate has been so much fun. She's in the 40s right now for me. It's like there's so many different things and pushes and pulls, because this game doesn't have an identity. This game has, remember, I couldn't believe when it launched and the reviews were like, man, I really enjoyed the single player. This is so many people really like the story and this, that, and the other. And it was like, yeah. And then you got to this chasm of the end game and this lost thing. And how I want a Jason Schreier article, but what I'd really love is a letter from Crystal Dynamics and a sit down interview with Crystal Dynamics and Scott over there or whatever, of like, where did it all go wrong? Because it sounded like at launch, right? Like, and is it COVID? Is it something else? At launch, it was going to be, guess what? Games in September, Kate's in October, Clint's in November. We are going to have a consistent content. You're going to get the cloning labs. You're going to get this. And then none of that has happened, except Kate now. But I mean, Kate was supposed to be here in, like I said, September, October. And then she got here in December. And it's just like, what the hell's going on over there? And then other people are pointing to all this and going, man, is this them building the groundwork for free to play? Is that why it's going to have you be more grindy?
I mean, to me, I look at everything that you just said, and I know how committed you've been to the game. But to me, this screams Anthem. It just screams that you're not learning what happened with BioWare and EA with Anthem. And I'm waiting for that news to come out to where we've stopped all updates, we've stopped the roadmap, and the game's just going to exist as is. Because if you can't get people to come back and play and invest into it and buy the microtransactions and all that, Battle Pass, whatever you want to call it, this game's not going to survive long term. It just financially, it can't. And things like this keeps people like me from not wanting to give it another chance and jump in. So they got to change something. It's got to be drastic, or like I said, we're going to get the Anthem next treatment with this.
And that's the thing, is like the clock is ticking. Like, you remember, like, this isn't Crystal doing this as an independent developer. This is Crystal, and this is a Square Enix game, and this is a Marvel Games thing. So if you're Square, how much resources do you keep investing in a game that isn't making the moves and isn't making its money back? If you're Marvel, who has a lot of success stories in the gaming industry, how long do you sit here going, man, we got this AAA thing that is completely fucked, that no one's excited for, that people just bag on all the time? Like, at this point, you got to be wondering if, like, man, we should have kept Marvel Heroes around. We should have, like, pulled it out of Gazillion, give it to somebody else, get some, like, there's a million other things going on, but I don't know.
So question, because you're obviously more invested into Avengers than I am. Have they detailed when Spider-Man is supposed to appear?
They did at the very beginning. Hold on. Portilla puked. You okay, Porty? Yeah, he's okay. He's shaking it off. They had Spider-Man, they have not said anything since they were originally like, oh, he's coming in 2021 in the first half of the year or whatever. I believe that was the original lineup on it in the first half of the year. And of course that is not happening. I keep trying to break this to people. And like, there's a, oh man, I think it's Miller, but with like 19 M's. He's a renowned Avengers leaker. He goes in data mines, and he's the one who founded like the Black Panther skins and early stuff and yada, yada, yada. He was saying on one of his most recent things, he moved the character updates around of who's coming next. And he's like, it's going to be Clint, then it's going to be Spider-Man, then it's going to be Black Panther. And I cannot believe that. Because I mean, again, to the rate conversation, right? Like, what, you have a game that doesn't have a raid. You know what I mean? You have a game that doesn't have anything for us to do when we hit level 150. You have a game that's been delayed, all these things inevitably. You have this thing now where you're coming in and not liking this level. You're now going to get us to a point where you're going to put out exclusive content on on one platform. Like, this is it's already blown up in your face. This will be even worse.
Well, that's kind of my point. Like, I almost feel like Spider-Man, he's the break glass in case of emergency situation. And to me, that's going to be their final opportunity to salvage this game, even if it's exclusive, to PlayStation, because look, Spider-Man, that's the guy, that's the franchise, right? That's the most recognizable character that Marvel has. And if you can't get people to come back for that game for Spider-Man, it's done. So I would hope whatever the hell it is they're doing right now, they're getting things fixed. They're getting structure. They're getting a roadmap and an infrastructure in place that by the time they do debut Spider-Man, we'll look back and go, man, Avengers is in a really good place right now, and they're bringing Spider-Man in. Okay, I got to jump in. I want to go play this. I want to do it.
And that's the thing is, my one of my Gamescast predictions for the year was that by the time we get to the end of the year, people will go, Avengers, it's pretty good. It's good enough, right? It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. You see decisions like this, and it's like, man, is it? Because I felt like all you needed to do is keep putting out content. If you get the content there, the core gameplay is great. And you do quality of life. I turned it on last night again to capture some stuff for this video I'm working on. And even for me, somebody who pays attention, I didn't realize that they were doing more with status effects and putting them on screen. I was like, why is it telling me to do the training thing again? I went and did the training thing because they've done a bunch of quality of life things to make it clear to you what's going on and what you're doing. Right. I'm like, oh, this is actually nice. But that shit gets buried when the conversation is we're making you grind longer for this stuff that wasn't fun necessarily to do to begin with. And there's nothing for you to do with your friends. Right now, my Avengers list of me, Goldfarb, Tam, and Sean Norton, who's in PR, we're talking about all right, well, I want to get Kate to 50, so do you guys want to play? I'm not I'm psyched to play, but I was waiting to do that when there was more content. But all right, whatever, let's go get now. Sorry, we went on forever for Avengers, but you guys know I love it, and that's why you come here. They're also doing a cosmetic rework, by the way. Long story short is that they're changing the way you get cosmetics. It won't be as random. You'll know what you're working towards. That's a great decision. Yes, I should see a costume and know that, I want to get that. What do I need to do? They should do it as quest lines, so I have a reason to replay stuff. Right. All of the Division, where the Division's hey, let's recycle the content you've already done, but we're putting you on a new path to do things.
Completely agree.
All right, I'll get out of here. I'll stop talking about Avengers. I'm sorry, everybody. Number 4 on the Roper Report, Guilty Gear Strive has been delayed. The developers put up the following statement. Dear customers, we've made the tough decision to move the release date of Guilty Gear Strive, previously planned for April 9th, 2021, to June 11th, 2021. Since we have received valuable feedback after the recent open beta test, we would like to make the most of this opportunity to provide the best game possible. We need extra time to polish some aspects of the game, such as the online lobbies and the server stabilities. We believe it is the best use of extra time to improve the game's quality and provide a better experience to all our players. Thank you for your patience and understanding. Just like we're talking about, Parris. Good. Delay it. Do your thing.
Yep, completely agree. I mean, and this one obviously isn't that crazy of a delay, so I think people can be pretty patient with that. But it just, again, goes back to COVID. Everything goes back to COVID. I'm not expecting much in 2021 for a lot of games. I mean, the ones that do get a small delay, great. But there's going to be other ones that, like Gran Turismo 7 as an example, pushed completely out of the year. I expect more games for that to happen, and that's okay. In the world we're in right now, I just think that's okay. We shouldn't have these unrealistic expectations for these big AAA games to make it out in 2021. If anything, something I've been saying the past few days is embrace your back catalog. We all have one. There's a ton of games that we've missed over the past few years, like grinding Destiny or something, right? So go back and play the games that you may have missed, because I'm not expecting much in 2021. But even this one coming in is June, right? That's fine. That's okay.
Yeah, and it's interesting that they're going off of the improvements from the beta test, not even that they fell behind, which leads to a question from Nathan Showcat, who writes into patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, just like you can. It says, Guilty Gear Strive just got delayed a couple of months, and although it was stated as a response to player feedback in the open beta, it made me think about all the delays caused by the pandemic. I was wondering what your thoughts are on pandemic-related delays. Specifically, do you think these delays hit larger AAA projects more often than indie ones simply because of the size and scopes of the game? Or is it more related to how capable a dev team is to adapt from a work-from-home model? I imagine smaller studios may have an easier time with logistics and implementations of changing the working at home, but maybe also don't have a solid release date out for their games, giving the perception that indie games haven't been affected by pandemic delays, but they actually have been. Have a great rest of your week, gents. Parris, how do you tackle that? Do you think for COVID, has it been easier on indies?
I think slightly it is, because you're dealing with smaller teams. Potentially it's a less complex game, which requires less QA. You're able to be more flexible in that way, even if you are in a remote working environment. But I still think it's a challenge. Don't get me wrong at all. It's not going to be easy for a smaller team to deliver a game. But the bigger a game is, the more complex it is, the more moving parts of people, art, develop, just program, everything that's involved in a big, massive team trying to deliver a game. Of course, working remote and not having people together to collaborate is just going to make things tougher. So yeah, I do think an indie studio, smaller team would have a better chance of delivering something closer to being on time.
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and I agree with you, Parris, in the answer that I think obviously pandemic and COVID has hit everybody, so no one's gotten off scot-free. But I do think that an indie team, not in that it's apples and oranges, no matter, even when you're talking about indie teams, for the most part, would have an easier time. Because when you're talking about, a AAA game, 300 people working on it across different time zones, all these different things, like you see it with Cyberpunk, right? And when they got they got the hack, right? And I'm talking about right now, not even the other thing. When they get the hack, they have to close off all the access to it. And so suddenly you have this security nightmare. Whereas, if you have a smaller team of 5, 10, whatever it's going to be, chances are too used to working from home. So many indie games are made by developers who are in different parts of the world all at one time working on one thing. The interesting question, as Nathan brings up, though, is that I love indie games. Obviously, I play them all the time, but I always take an indie game release date with a grain of salt, even more than a AAA thing. Yeah. AAA thing, you have a way because, hey, there's a fiscal year. Hey, we have stockholders. Hey, we have all these things. Indie games, you have to put out a game eventually, but more than ever, I think it is, if it's not the way they want it or up to their standards, they will delay it and try to make their shot count more than others. So it's interesting to see that balance of it. But I would think, that indies have been able to pivot more. But even when you say, oh well, you were already working from home, then take into account the fact that now you have a partner, now you have a child, now you have somebody who's not going to school, right? Like everything's, even that's different in terms of if you were work from home, it's not as easy as it used to be.
I completely agree.
Parris.
Greg.
People can go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, of course, to be part of the show. They can go there to get the show ad-free, and they can go there to get the post show each and every weekday. But right now, they need to come here and stay here. Well, no, right now you're not there. You're not on Patreon is what I'm saying. So we're going to do the ads. Blessing is joining me. Blessing, are you here?
I am here. What's up?
I want you to read the ads. I'm going to clean up Portillo's puke, okay?
Oh, awesome.
Can you turn on your camera? Are you prepared for that? Can you do that?
There you go. And then I'm here. What's
there
up?
It is. Look, it's done. All right, cool.
Wow.
Okay. All right, hold on. I'm going to go do that. Everybody, this is Blessing Adeoye Jr. He's from the future class of video games. I got to clean up my dog's puke. Because, again, work from home. Who knows what it's like,
Yep.
Exactly. While you're here, since I have everybody's attention, go watch The Blessing Show up right now, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. All about puzzle games. It's a very good video. It's my favorite Blessing Show that I've worked on so far. So everybody go watch that so I can justify it existing after the pilot program. While I'm here, let's go through some of these ads. Of course, you can go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames where you can get the show ad-free. And speaking of ads, this episode of Kind of Funny Games Daily is brought to you by Honey. We all shop online, and we've all seen that promo code feel taunt us at checkout. But thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past. Honey is the free browser extension that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. Honey supports over 30,000 stores online. They range from sites that have tech and gaming products to popular fashion brands and even food delivery. Imagine you're shopping on one of your favorite sites. When you check out, the Honey button drops down, and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. Wait a few seconds as Honey searches for coupons it can find for that site. If Honey finds a working coupon, you'll watch the prices drop. Kind of Funny loves Honey. Tim Geddes himself has used it for years and has saved thousands of dollars. He says himself, "You are silly if you don't use it. It is free and easy." Honey has found its over 17 million members over $2 billion in savings. If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out on free savings. That's right, free savings. It's literally free and installs in a few seconds. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid in supporting this podcast. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/games. That's joinhoney.com/games. We're also brought to you by Logitech. Gaming headsets are important. You want a gaming headset with a good mic, good sound, and a headset that feels comfortable to wear. That's what's best about the G733 wireless gaming headset from Logitech G. The G733 Lightspeed wireless gaming headset comes with 2.4 gigahertz wireless connectivity, front-facing dual-zone light sync RGB, Blue Voice mic technology, Pro G audio drivers, and multiple colorways to choose from. It also has total freedom with up to a 20 meters wireless range with Lightspeed Wireless. Keep playing with 29 plus hours of battery life. Play wirelessly on PlayStation 4 with stereo sound. With front-facing dual-zone light sync RGB lighting, you can personalize your headset lighting across style and comfort. The reversible suspension headband is designed for ultimate comfort during long play sessions. Each G733 colorway has its own unique headband design. There's also soft dual-layer memory foam that conforms to your head and contours around the jaw for a better seal, reduced stress points, and delivers longer-lasting comfort. It's available in multiple colorways, each with its own vibrant reversible headband and corresponding ear pads. For a limited time, Logitech G is offering our listeners express shipping at logitechg.com. Use code KINDAFUNNY free ship 31 for express shipping today.
Rolls
That's
off the
express
tongue.
Shipping. It rolls right off the tongue. That's express shipping for all Logitech G products with promo code KINDAFUNNY free ship 31. Hurry now, since after this promo, the code expires in 3 days. That's KINDAFUNNY free ship 31. The numbers 31. Lastly, we're brought to you by DoorDash. You want Chinese, they want pizza, and someone is craving froyo. There's something for everyone at DoorDash. DoorDash connects you with the restaurants you love right now and right to your door. And now you can get the grocery essentials you need with DoorDash too. Get drinks, snacks, and other household items delivered in under an hour. Ordering is easy. Open the DoorDash app, choose what you want from where you want, and your items will be left safely outside your door with the contactless delivery drop-off setting. With over 300,000 partners in the US, Puerto Rico, Australia, and now Canada, you can support your neighborhood go-tos or choose from your favorite national restaurants like Popeyes, Chipotle, and Cheesecake Factory. For a limited time, our listeners can get $25 off and zero delivery fees on their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter code GAMES2021. For our Canadian listeners, use code GAMESCA. That's 25% off up to a $10 value and zero delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter code GAMES2021 in the US and GAMESCA in Canada. Don't forget, that's code Games 2021 or Games CA for 25% off your first order with DoorDash. Subject to change. Terms apply. Greg, back to you.
Thank you so much, Blessing. Great job stepping in there. I appreciate that. I like that you're right on top of it. Good job. Good job, Kevin, on the Switch. Parris, good job just rolling with it. You know what I mean?
Hey, got to keep smiling, right?
Parris.
Greg.
I'm excited to see the next time Portillo throws up on camera, but that's so far away. If I wanted something more immediate, say what came to the mom and grop shops, where would I go?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show hosts each and every weekday.
Yeah. Out today, Kill It With Fire on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch. You can get mine and Andy's impressions of that over on the Gamescast this week. Mortal Shell on the PlayStation 5, Xbox. And here's my thing. You're an Xbox representative. You're here for the Xcast. Can we just move to just saying Xbox now? It says Xbox Series X/S. I say we're done with it. You just say Xbox, smart delivery. It's going to play everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
The motion passes. Hold on. It's done. We're done. Xbox only now. Everhood, Switch and PC. Sea of Solitude on Switch. It's going to break and kill me one day. Ranch Simulator on PC. Loop Hero on PC and Mac. Ruinverse on Switch. Sticky Monsters on Switch. Give It Up! Bouncy on Switch. Sea of Solitude, which I already talked about. Director's Cut on Switch. Task Force Delta Afghanistan on Switch. Pixel Game Maker Series Puzzle Pedestrians on Switch. Mail Mole on Switch. Into a Dream on Switch. Duel on Board Switch. Gnosia on Switch. Forestry, The Simulation on Switch. Counter Recon The Final Mission on Switch. Estrange The Departure on Switch. Super Met Boy. It says Met Boy. If that's got to be a copyright infringement on Meat Boy, if it's not Super Meat Boy. Switch. The Love and Suffering of Sir Barante on this PC. Neoverse is on PlayStation 4. The Survivalists Farming Update is available on consoles today. Then over in GTA Online, the small but mighty Garati Burios 3000 joins the wide-ranging catalog at Southern San Andreas Super Autos, while a wealth of aerial and nautical-themed double rewards, clothing unlocks, and vehicle discounts are also available to all players. Then our friends over at Core say Manicore Games is excited to introduce a brand new way to experience Core's multiverse with the launch of Homeworld, the platform's new entryway and social space where players can hang out, socialize, and find games to play. As the new default entryway into Core, Homeworld gives players a three-dimensional virtual space to explore an endless arcade of games. Large marquees point the way to portals for all the most popular games, which include everything from frantic shooters to deep MMORPGs, to simulators and much more. All created in Core, offering a completely interconnected multiverse experience unique to Core. Then, new dates for you. Signs of the Sojourner is coming out on PlayStation 4 March 17th, Nintendo Switch March 18th, and Xbox One March 19th. First Strike Classics is coming to PC and mobile on March 10th. Before Your Eyes comes to Steam on April 8th. Elite Dangerous Odyssey PC Alpha begins on March 29th. Then I usually don't put it in if it doesn't have a real release date, but this had a big enough name that I thought I would toss it in here. Sony Pictures, Virtual Reality, and XR Games are proud to announce Zombieland VR Headshot Fever, an exciting new VR game set in the Zombieland universe, releasing this spring for Oculus Quest, Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, Windows Mixed Reality headsets, and later for PlayStation VR. And then, to celebrate the long-awaited launch of Apex Legends on Nintendo Switch on March 9th, EA and Respawn Entertainment will be hosting the Apex Legends Chaos Theory Collection event. Starting March 9th and running until March 23rd, the Chaos Theory Collection event will celebrate Caustic, the Outland's notorious murderous scientist, and will usher in a batch of changes and new ways to play the fan-favorite Battle Royale. Parris, do you ever get into Apex?
A little.
Yeah,
a little, and I know I need to. Danny and Rihanna keep pushing me to want to play, so I need to play. I know it's a blast. I just haven't.
Yeah, it never clicked for me, but then it was like when we were all mourning Titanfall, and everybody's like, "It's in the Titanfall universe." I was like, "Oh yeah, it is kind of, isn't it?" Yeah, I love Titanfall, but no, probably not coming back to this. Deals of the day for you. GameSpot's got one for you. Nintendo is offering another Super Smash Bros. Ultimate freebie for Nintendo Switch Online users. For a limited time, subscribers can claim Spirits Set 1. This pack unlocks 2 random spirits in your game, 1 Legend Class Support Spirit, and 1 Ace Class Primary Spirit. If you're a dork like Tim, congratulations, go get it. And then another one for you is one that's very important to me. This is from Xbox. Get down this weekend with 2 exciting games in the free play days lineup. Going Under and Descenders are both available for Xbox Live Gold and Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members now until Sunday at midnight. I really enjoyed Going Under. It's free. You have no excuse not to go play it. Go play Going Under. Did you play Going Under, Parris?
I have not. Sounds like I need to.
Go get it and talk about it on the XCast. Spread the word. Going Under, a really fun game. Let's check in with kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. Remember, if you're watching live, ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to go to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong and tell us what we screw up as we screw it up so we can set the record straight for everybody watching later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, rooststreet.com, and listening on podcast services around the globe. We started with Drofus96 here, who said, hey, at 1:06 p.m. Eastern time, the Blessing Show is not online. I went live while you had said that, and of course what I had seen is that it was live, it just wasn't playlisted yet. It has been playlisted. Remember, if you ever go to our YouTube channel and you can't find a video, click on the videos tab, because usually somebody just forgot to put the thing over there and do that thing. Borzin00 says Destiny in fact changed it so there's only 10 levels each season rather than the usual 50. Oof, 50 would have been
brutal. Yeah.
Why do you love Destiny, Parris? And I don't mean it like in an accusatory form. It's just
why do you like it?
We were playing Outriders the other day, and I was like, oh yeah, but I'm like, should I just go back to Destiny?
Honestly, I love Destiny, and I'm invested because I've been in it so long, but it has one of the best communities out there, in my opinion. And the fact that they were able to pull off seamlessly all the matchmaking that happens in the background, so that even if you are playing by yourself, you're able to get matched into a strike, or you go into Gambit, obviously the multiplayer, things like that. But when I think about some of the end-game content that Destiny has with the raids, obviously the dungeons is a thing that's come about in the past few years, and there's even some of the secret missions, like one you can do right now for an exotic quest. It's some of the most challenging and fun content I've ever had in the cooperative space, and that's what just keeps bringing me back. I think the fact that Bungie, kind of going back to our Avengers talk really quick, they're not perfect. Yeah, they've made a lot of mistakes over the years, but they seem to learn from them, and they admit them, and they talk about them, and they engage with the community in that way. to try and understand what they can do better to make Destiny better. And the fact that I'm still talking about that game as it goes into year 7 is amazing to me. And I'm just as excited right now playing Destiny as I was back in 2014. And it's so funny, they're even bringing back the original raid, Vault of Glass. I know it like the back of my hand, but guess what? I'm so excited to get with a fire team of 6 and jump in there and go play it again. So that's to me, whatever the secret sauce is that Bungie found with Destiny, I can't explain it exactly.
Sure.
But it's just fun playing with other people and connecting with other people. Some friends I will have for the rest of my life is because of that game. So
I love those stories. I love that.
Yeah. So I always play it. I always love it.
More of your wrongs here. Nanobiologist points out that, Parris, you were wrong. You failed to mention that you do your own weekly chat about WandaVision on Clubhouse, and it's awesome to tune into weekly.
Well, I will just simply say that is not my WandaVision chat on Clubhouse. That is Danny Pena's.
Oh, that's why we don't promote it then. We don't promote Danny stuff.
That's why
we already got you for Falcon Winter Soldier, so don't even worry. We're getting you away from Danny there too, slowly but surely. We love you, Danny. Kind of Steven says, Greg, you are correct about Super Met Boy. It is a different game called Super Met Boy, and it's very similar in gameplay to Meat Boy. No clue how they got away with this. Different art style only, really. Okay. And then Arkwing points out that I missed this today. Challenger pack number 9 for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, including Pyrrha and Mithra, are out today on the Switch if you want to go get that. So go get it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your Thursday show in the books. Kinda. Of course, we have a post show to do on patreon.com/kindafunnygames where you could go right now, subscribe, get the show ad free, get that post show each and every weekday, be able to write into great shows like the Xcast and have a great time with us all the time. If you're sticking around here on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, you got Blessing and Snowbike Mike coming up, and they are playing. Hold on, I almost got it. It's that game Lucy likes a lot. Diva's in it.
Overwatch.
That's it. Overwatch. It's a struggling indie. I don't know, but they like it a lot, and I cheer them on for doing it. I think there might be loot boxes. I'm not sure. So if you're doing that, you can watch it live on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. If you want to watch it later, youtube.com/kindafunnyplays. Of course, if you want to follow us, we're going to patreon.com/kindafunnygames to do your post show right now. Tomorrow, Blessing will be here with his roommate from GameSpot, Michael Hyam. Will they be in the same room? Will they do some kind of gag? Nobody knows what's going on over there, but we'll see soon enough. Parris, if people aren't following us to Patreon, where can people keep up with you?
You can find me over at gamertagradio.com, and you can also find me right here on Kind of Funny. I am a co-host for the Xcast, and if you want to follow me on social media, my tag is Vicious696.
Fantastic. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got a post show to do. But until next time, I got some of those syllables, not all of them. I got some of them, though. You know, it's like a foul ball. We got a post show to do. But until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.